Hiya Dan, well done today. Hope you found it helpful. Just going to run through a couple of things we talked about in this session there. So setup was pretty good, to be fair. Grip was getting a slight tad weak at the setup there in that left hand. Just be careful of that there and getting those hands forward. But the main issue we saw now in this downswing, you got the top of the back, so it was almost a sort of pulling with the hands and the arms and the body kind of spinning out the way there. So that club now is getting a little bit kind of steep and over the top. Now with the shorter irons, what that produced was a sort of high cutty, floaty shot, losing quite a bit of yardage there. The ball only carrying about sort of 145 there with your 7-iron, as opposed to sort of the 155, 160 you'd be anticipating. Obviously with longer clubs, then that ball would then be curving off to the right, and you'd be losing that ball into the trees right there. So the feeling you've got to try and produce now from the top of the backswing, as you see that alignment stick through your waist there now, keeping the alignment stick in that position as your weight shifts onto your left side, at the same time the arms sort of falling down. So it kind of creates a sort of stronger feeling in that left wrist. Now, with the left wrist doing this sort of stronger feeling, and when you look at the club the first few times, you think, crikey, that club's really closed. What it did was put your hand in a position to create shaft lean, and also, as we can see, shallow the club. So we're not trying to create shaft lean by shoving the hands forward, and we're not trying to create the club shallowing by just dropping the head behind us. What we do is we move the body in a different way. So we keep this right hip back on the way down, and we shift the weight a bit further forward, because your hips are going to rotate inevitably as you come into the hitting area. So the hips are shifting towards target and the arms are falling. And what that did was, I say, produce a stronger club face into this position here now. And when you first saw this club face like this, you felt like the golf ball's going to go way to the left. But obviously with this drill, we're doing it very, very slow. As you add speed to this, now you can see your hands at a different angle. And up the hands, you can see they're definitely leading that club head into impact. Club face now, even though you've done that, isn't aiming left of target. So you've got a really, really good impact position. A little bit pulley in with the arms there, if we're being honest. But the sensation now is the hips are going to stay back as the arms fall, getting that club to work back down the target line, a much more efficient path. So you won't feel the need to hit it quite so hard. So as we get to the top of the backswing now, the arms are going to feel as though they're working straight down as this hip stays back. And once you do that movement here, now even though it's a feel thing, in reality that's not always going to be the case. As you can see, the hips are still going to unwind. As you can see, just impact or before impact here now, that left knee at the back is just about showing, so it shows your lower half is opening up, which it will do. We've just got to try and slow it down a little bit and shift a little bit more as we come into impact now. Club work on a decent path, good strike, and that ball flying a lot straighter with a slight hair of a draw. And as we can see on the wrist monitor there, getting the left and top of the backswing position in a very good spot. And the impact with a little bit of shaft lean there in a very, very good spot. So work on that transition from the top. It's just going to be just a question of sort of just pumping this move up and down, getting the hands to fall as those hips sort of slide towards target. Repeat that over and over again in sort of the practice area. Then as we say, we step in the golf ball, we just hit it, test the results, see how they go. If the ball starts flying a bit more to the left, then you know your left wrist and the club are better. We've therefore got to start shifting our weight a little bit more. So hope that makes sense, buddy. Any questions, obviously give me a shout, but I'll catch up again soon. Cheers, mate.